Welcome to my channel. We were talking about type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. In the previous part, we discussed about that how IgE antibodies will be produced in the first exposure. We have talked about that in type 1 IgE antibodies are involved, and the patient and the individual who produce more IgE antibodies, they are called as atopic individuals. We have also talked about that how these antibodies, IgE antibodies, will be produced, and what is the role of APCs, what is the role of T cells, what is the role of B cells, how these antibodies will be produced. All these things has been discussed in the previous part. And then we also talked about that in the second exposure, when the same allergen will come again, and now this allergen will cause the cross-linking of IgE antibodies that are present, that are attached on the mast cell. If you want to learn more about this, you must visit the previous part A as well to clear your concepts of the first exposure. While in the second exposure, when the allergen will come and it will attach on the IgE antibodies that has attached on the mast cell. We know that mast cell have receptor for these IgE, for the Fc portion of, you know that this is Fc portion and these are the Fab portion of antibody. For the Fc portion of IgE, this is the mast cell and it will be having receptor. Though the name of those receptor is FCER, receptor for IgE antibodies for the Fc portion. Okay, when the antibodies will come and they will attach over it, the mast cell will be called as sensitized. And when in the second exposure, now I am going to start what will happen in the second exposure. When in the second exposure, the allergen will again come, it will attach on the Fab portion of the antibodies. It will cause the cross-linking of antibodies. After the cross-linking, intracellular signaling message will go, and it will cause two main function. One, it will cause activation of enzyme that is called as phospholipase A. Okay, and the other is it will cause the degranulation. It will cause the release of content that is present in the granules of the mast cell. We know that mast cell is a basically granulocyte. It have small granules in its cytoplasm, and when after this interaction, when the intracellular signal will go down, it will cause a degranulation, the release of content present in these vesicle. And you know what is the content present in the vesicle? These vesicle contain histamine, these vesicle can contain tryptases, these vesicle contain some proteoglycans such as heparin. Okay, so all these contents, some other contents like chymase vagera, they will also they will also be released out of the mast cell into the interstitial fluid. Now these are the substances that are going to play important role in the type 1 hypersensitivity reaction, and these are the substances which will be responsible for the clinical manifestation. For example, we know that in the allergic reaction, type 1 hypersensitivity reaction, there is a breathing difficulty, there is redness, there is swelling, there is edema, there are some GID symptoms, there is some urticaria like itching and blister formation on the skin. So all these symptoms will come by the action of these substances that has released from the mast cell. First of all, if we talk about the histamine, we know that histamine have its receptor on the bronchial smooth muscle. So when it will act on these smooth muscle, it will cause the contraction of those smooth muscle of airway. So it means histamine basically causes the bronchoconstriction. Histamine causes the bronchoconstriction. Let me write. Histamine causes the bronchoconstriction. So obviously difficulty in breathing will be taken place in those patient. Similarly, histamine also have a receptor on the nearby blood vessels, and it will also cause the relaxation of smooth muscles present on the blood vessels. So when it will cause the relaxation, so basically histamine will cause a vasodilation, local vasodilation. When there will be a vasodilation, the more and more blood will come at the site of allergy, so it will cause a redness. Obviously when more blood is coming out there, it will cause the redness. Okay, similarly histamine also have receptor present on these endothelial cells of the blood vessels, and when the histamine will come and it will attach on these receptors present on the endothelial cells of the blood vessels, these blood these cells, these endothelial cells, they will be, they will constrict, they will shrink. Histamine will cause a shrinkage of these blood vessels. When they will shrink, the space between these cells will increase, so more and more fluid will leak out from the blood into the interstitial fluid, and it will cause the edema, swelling or edema. What is edema? Accumulation of fluid in the tissue is basically called as edema. So obviously when more and more fluid will leak out because of the constriction, because of the shrinkage of these endothelial cells due to histamine, more and more fluid will come out and it will cause the edema. We also know that histamine also have a receptor in the uh, on the parietal cells of the stomach. For example, this is stomach, and we know that in the stomach parietal cells are present. Parietal cells are basically cause the release of acid into the stomach. They basically release acid. So it basically, when they will act on the receptor on the parietal cell, they basically increase the acid secretion into the stomach. So histamine also causes the acidity. They can also cause, they also increase the GIT motility as well. Furthermore, they also cause the release of mucus in the airway. So in this way, difficulty breathing and all these symptoms can be appear because of these mediators that will immediately release. So they are basically this will be the immediate response right after the attachment of allergen. In the second exposure, these symptoms will start appearing within minutes. I will show you after some time the immediate phase and late phase reaction with the help of graph, so your concept will be clear. So just stay with me. Furthermore, another substance is tryptases. Tryptases has also a very important role in the release of preformed mediator in the degranulation. Furthermore, it also causes the contraction of smooth muscle. It also increase the heart rate. So it mean it will also show some allergic symptoms, some clinical manifestations as well. Then let's talk about some proteoglycan which include heparin. Well, heparin will show a little bit different function. It has been reported to have anti-inflammatory activity. Inflammatory activities. Okay, and we know that it's a basically anticoagulant, but it basically have anti-inflammatory. It basically counter the allergic reaction. First of all, it cause the it stop these degranulation of the histamine. It basically tend to stop this adverse effect of these mediator. So it basically it also stop the release of content from the mast cell. So all these clinical manifestations can be reversed after some time. We will see how they will be reversed. Okay. Now, first of all, let me show you the graph. As soon as the allergen will come and it will cause the cross-linking of antibodies, the content will be released. So an immediate reaction will start. Immediate. For example, 0 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour, 6 hour, and so on. 20 hour. Okay. So what will happen? Right after the second exposure, the allergic reaction will start because of the preformed mediators like histamine and other substances which I have talked about. Then we have also talked about the role of heparin. It will try to lower the it will try to counter the anti-inflammatory activity. So after some times the anti-inflammatory activity will decrease. Then after some time we'll see that after 2 to 4 hours a second wave of allergic reaction will also start, and that will move up to 20 hours or 15 hours. Now why this second wave of allergic reaction is coming? This reaction was basically immediate reaction, and we know that this reaction was basic because of the already formed mediators. They will go, they will release, and they will show their activity. So this reaction will come out because of already formed mediator. But this second phase reaction, it will be because of newly made mediators. Now what are newly made mediators? Let me tell you. I have explained that right after the interaction an enzyme phospholipase A will be get activated. Now this phospholipase A will start synthesizing new mediators. How? Let's see. So when in the second exposure allergen will come, for example allergen will come and it will attach over it, and then it will cause the activation of enzyme, that is phospholipase A. Now this phospholipase A, it can convert this phospholipid bilayer membrane into arachidonic acid. We know that mast cell has cell membrane, and cell membrane is made up of phospholipids. Now phospholipase A, it will start converting this phospholipid membrane into arachidonic acid, and on the arachidonic acid two enzymes, cyclooxygenase enzyme and lipooxygenase enzyme, it will act on it. The cyclooxygenase enzyme, it will convert arachidonic acid into prostaglandin D2, prostaglandin I2, prostaglandin F2, thromboxane, and some other mediator as well. I have written over there some important mediators. Then lipooxygenase enzyme, it will act on the arachidonic acid and it will convert arachidonic acid into leukotriene B4, leukotriene C4, leukotriene D4, and leukotriene E4. Some other lipoxin A4 and lipoxin B4 will also be formed. So these are the newly formed mediator. Now this second wave of reaction was basically because of these mediators. They also have inflammatory action. They also have vasodilatory action. They also have bronchoconstrictory action. So obviously it means they are also responsible for these type of clinical manifestations like breathing difficulty, redness, swelling, edema, and GIT symptoms. These mediators can also show, but the production of these mediators will take some time. So the late phase reaction will be shown after some time, not immediately. Immediate phase reaction was because of pre-formed mediators who are already present. They just need to be released out to perform the action. Now what will happen? Now let's see how these newly formed mediators, they will show their action. First of all, if we talk about the leukotriene B4, leukotriene B4 play a very important role in the chemotaxis. It means it will attract other WBCs, other neutrophil, other mast cells at the site of allergy. It also causes vasodilation and it also increase permeability. Permeability means obviously the vasodilation will be taken place, the more and more fluid will leak out and edema will be caused. So basically leukotriene B4 will cause the permeability. Leukotriene C4 and D4, they are very important, very important. They are basically very potent bronchoconstrictor. Very potent bronchoconstrictor. It means they are going to cause the bronchoconstriction, and difficulty in breathing will also happen in the second phase reaction. That will be more potent, that will be more severe as compared to phase 1 reaction. Similarly, they also increase the they also cause the constriction of endothelial cells, constriction. So more and more fluid will leak out. So they are also basically responsible for the edema, tissue edema. Okay. Now leukotriene E4. If we talk about the leukotriene E4 also basically increase the bronchoconstriction. Bronchoconstriction and vascular permeability. It also increase vascular permeability. So in this, it means all these type of reaction that were appearing in the phase 1 reaction, they can also appear in phase 2 as well, because these mediators do have those activities and they will be more potent, more severe as compared to the phase 1 reaction, as compared to the early phase or immediate phase reaction. Similarly, prostaglandin D2, prostaglandin I2, F2 and thromboxane A2 will also be formed. Prostaglandin, if we talk about the D2, mainly obviously this is released from the mast cell and it have bronchoconstrictive activity. It also have bronchoconstriction. It will also cause bronchoconstriction. Bronchoconstriction. It can also cause a vascular vasodilator activity, and so it will also cause the redness and edema, tissue edema and redness. It will also cause the it also have chemotaxis activity, so it will attract neutrophils and xenophils and other substances as well. It also have chemotaxis activity. Okay, now if we talk about the prostaglandin I2, it's a potent vasodilator and it will also cause redness and edema. If we talk about prostaglandin F2 alpha, it's a vasoconstrictor, bronchoconstrictor and vasodilator, same like T2. So it will also cause the difficulty in breathing and edema and redness. Thromboxane A2 has little bit opposite activity. It cause vasoconstriction, so it will little bit try to reverse the scenario. Okay, furthermore it can cause the platelet aggregation, but if we talk about its role on the airway, it's a potent bronchoconstriction, bronchoconstrictor, so it will also cause the difficulty in breathing as well. Okay, so it means in the late phase reaction, the symptoms, the clinical manifestations will be same like the early phase, immediate phase, but they will be more potent and they will be prolonged. Why they will be prolonged? Because most of the mediators have same activity, and so they will be prolonged and potent action will be shown. Well, if we talk about the pharmacology, how we can use drugs and how these drugs basically, what type of drugs are basically used to counter the type 1 hypersensitivity or to counter allergic reaction, you must watch part 3 of this video. In the part 3 I will be talking about the targets of anti-allergic drugs, where they basically act on. I hope you must like this video. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel and like this video as well, and press the bell icon so that you may get notification for the part 3.